The distress beacon had been silent for 3 rotations when Vial's warship finally breached the asteroid field surrounding outpost Kepler 7. As commander of the Apex Coalition's 4th Fleet, he had seen countless battlefields negotiated with species that could boil oceans with thought alone, and survived encounters that would reduce lesser beings to cosmic dust. Nothing in his 2 centuries of service, however, had prepared him for what awaited in the abandoned research station. The airlock hissed open, revealing corridors painted with claw marks and dried biomatter. Vial's combat team, 7 of the Coalition's finest warriors, each capable of leveling a city block, moved through the wreckage with weapons raised. The station had been studying the Umbrell, a species of apex predators from the lightless depths of Tenebris Prime. Creatures of pure instinct and lethality, they had never been successfully domesticated. Never been contained for longer than a solar cycle, the research here had been controversial even by human standards. Commander, his 2nd Crix, clicked through his translator. Life signs ahead, multiple. All Umbrell signatures. And the research team? No human bio-readings detected. Vial's 4 hearts sank. Humans. Reckless. Brilliant. Infuriatingly optimistic humans. They pushed boundaries other species wouldn't dare approach, driven by curiosity that bordered on suicidal. The Coalition had warned them about the Umbrell project. Some creatures were meant to remain in nightmares. They found the nursery at the station's core. The door had been torn from its hinges, bent like foil. Vial raised one clawed hand, signaling his team to hold position. Through the gap, he could see movement, shadows upon shadows writhing in the low light. The Umbrell cubs, at least 20 of them, each the size of a hoverbike, all teeth and muscle and predatory hunger even in infancy. And there, in the center of the room, was Lyra. The human sat slumped against the wall, head tilted to one side in sleep. Her uniform was shredded, revealing scores of scars across her arms and neck. An empty ration pack lay beside her, along with what appeared to be a makeshift spear fashioned from a broken support beam. But it was the scene surrounding her that froze Vial's blood. The Umbrell cubs were everywhere. 3 of them had draped themselves across her lap, their obsidian bodies rising and falling with each breath. 2 more flanked her sides like living armor. Others prowled the perimeter of the room, their eyeless faces turning toward the doorway toward Vial's team. And from every single cub came a sound that should have been impossible. Purring, deep, resonant, the vibration so powerful it shook dust from the ceiling tiles. The Umbrell were purring. Impossible, Crix whispered. They're apex predators. They don't bond. They don't. One of the cubs near Lyra shifted, nuzzling closer to her hand. In her sleep, she moved her fingers instinctively, scratching behind what might have been the creature's ear. The purring intensified. Vial had studied human history during his training. He knew about their wolves, once killers in the wild, now companions in their homes. He knew about their great cats, their bears, their affinity for turning predators into family. But the Umbrell were different. They were evolved killing machines from a world where sunlight never reached, where only the most ruthless survived. And yet here was Lyra, asleep and defenseless, guarded by 20 of them. What happened here? Vial murmured, as if in answer. Lyra stirred. Her eyes opened slowly, brown, tired, but alert. She saw Vial and his team at the doorway, weapons drawn, and managed a weak smile. "Hey," she said, her voice hoarse. "Took you long enough." The cubs immediately sensed the change in her state. They pressed closer, positioning themselves between Lyra and the doorway. One of the larger ones, nearly adult-sized, released a warning hiss that made Vial's combat suit register a threat level 9. "Easy," Lyra said, placing her hands on the nearest cubs. "They're friends, probably." "Lyra Chen," Vial said, lowering his weapon slowly. "What happened to your team?" Her smile faded. "The adults broke containment on day 2. Killed everyone in the first 10 minutes. I was in the nursery when it happened. Locked myself in with the cubs." She paused, stroking the head of the creature in her lap. "The adults came for them. Tried to break through. I couldn't let them. These babies hadn't done anything wrong. You fought adult Umbrell? Alone? Didn't have much choice." She gestured to the spear. "Station's automated defenses helped until they got fried. After that, it was just me and this pointy stick." She looked down at the cubs and her expression softened. "But they're smart, so smart. After I saved them from their own parents, they started staying close. Started listening. Started caring. Crick stepped forward. This is unprecedented. The Umbrell are babies, Lyra interrupted. Babies who needed someone to protect them, to feed them, to show them they didn't have to be what biology said they were. She met Vial's gaze. Isn't that what humanity's always been about? Choosing who we are instead of accepting what we're born as. Vial looked at the scene before him, at this exhausted human who had spent 3 rotations alone with 20 apex predators, turning them from monsters into companions through nothing but determination and stubborn compassion. It was the most human thing he had ever witnessed. We need to evacuate you, he said finally. They come with me. Lyra, they come with me, or I stay. Her voice carried no anger, just absolute certainty. I didn't keep them alive for 3 days just to let them be destroyed because people are scared. The cubs pressed closer to her, purring louder. Protecting their protector. Vial's mandibles clicked in what might have been a laugh. Humans, impossible, reckless, beautiful humans. Of course, he said, we'll need to retrofit Cargo Bay 3. As his team began making arrangements, Vial watched Lyra slowly stand, surrounded by her shadows, her unlikely family. The cubs followed her every movement, bound to her by something deeper than survival. In that moment, Vial understood why humanity had earned their place among the stars. Not through strength or technology, but through their unshakable belief that even the darkest things could be taught to purr.